Today let's watch a newly released anime. The male protagonist is troubled by his lecherous bloodline, so he decides to be a monk in a temple to remove the perverted desire in his heart. However, he strays into a nunnery where 6 sexy girls live. He then settles there, while always inexplicably having intimate contact with the girls. This prompts the lecherous blood on the male protagonist to surge. Can he suppress his inner desire and successfully complete his practice? Let's find the answer in the anime. At the beginning of the anime, the male protagonist Akamitsu is experiencing the same college life as most people. His dream is to become a civil servant with a stable income and high social status. However, his father is very womanizing. To date different women, Akamitsu was abandoned by him at 5. Additionally, because of his father's disrepute, people around him all have bad impressions of his family name. To clear the stigma of the family, Akamitsu keeps reminding himself not to date women. One day, he is accidentally hit by a rice bag, whose owner is a very cute girl. Unexpectedly, he falls in love with the cute girl at first sight. Since then, he seems to have changed into another person. He frantically participates in social relationships and contacts different girls to have intimate relationships with them. In the end, due to his addiction to alcohol and beautiful women, his scores drop and he is also fired from the workplace. To clear his mind, he takes a leave of absence. After then, Akamitsu borrows a monastic robe from his uncle, who used to be an abbot, and goes to the temple recommended by him. Unexpectedly, as soon as he enters the door, he meets a beautiful girl named Yuzuki. He recognizes Yuzuki as the girl who hit him with the rice bag. Seeing Yuzuki's sexy body, he once again has vulgar fantasies. Unable to control himself, he offers to marry her. Surprised by his crazy ideas, Yuzuki takes Akamitsu as her blind date and decides to treat him to tea. Having no idea of the reason for Yuzuki's invitation, Akamitsu mistakenly thinks it is a test set by the temple to see if he could swear off womanizing. However, he has a very bad performance. He can't help but bleed his nose as soon as he sees Yuzuki. Out of embarrassment, he has to leave temporarily and goes to the bathroom. On the way, he is attracted by a sudden meow. Following the sound, he finds a cat falling into a well. He tries to help the cat out. Unexpectedly, he accidentally falls into the well while the cat jumps out easily. Meanwhile, Yuzuki calls Kiki, the abbot who helps introduce the blind date. Knowing that Kiki is now with her blind date, Yuzuki realizes that something goes wrong. Believing that there will be no men in the nunnery, she regards Akamitsu as an evil spirit. Coincidentally, her younger sister, Tsukuyo, returns to the temple. She hurriedly tells Tsukuyo that she has encountered an evil spirit. Just then, Akamitsu crawls out of the well in embarrassment. Frightened by his appearance, Yuzuki is even more convinced that Akamitsu is an evil spirit and hurriedly pulls Tsukuyo to escape. During this time, the two girls meet their youngest sister, Courage. Seeing Courage is about to fall to the ground, Akamitsu stops to hold her. In addition to the 3 sisters, in the temple, there also live a girl and her servant. Mia's goal is to become a lady and she is practicing calligraphy. Her servant, Kagura, is accompanying her. Unexpectedly, the loud noise outside disturbs Mia. She goes out to check on the situation but accidentally bumps into Akamitsu, which makes her very shy. Eventually, Akamitsu catches up with Yuzuki and Tsukuyo, but before he can explain, he is punched down by Yuzuki. The misunderstanding remains until Kiki returns to the temple. It turns out that Akamitsu comes to the temple with the introduction of his uncle. Because of his monastic robe, Yuzuki mistakenly thought that her blind date had come in advance. The main reason for the misunderstanding is that Kiki forgets to inform them of Akamitsu's coming. Also, Akamitsu's uncle is very unreliable, who even introduces his nephew to the nunnery. Taking Akamitsu as a free dog's body, Kiki proposes to let him practice in the temple for some time. Unexpectedly, her proposal is opposed by most of the girls, especially Yuzuki, who considers Akamitsu a womanizing person and does not want to live with him. In the end, Akamitsu offers to leave. Among the girls, only Courage has a good impression of Akamitsu. Therefore, she takes the initiative to tell Yuzuki her opinion. Believing that Akamitsu is not a bad guy, she wants him to stay at the temple. Touched by Courage's words, Yuzuki reflects on her decision. Thinking that she may be prejudiced against Akamitsu, she catches up with him at once. Meanwhile, Akamitsu is waiting at the bus station. However, the location of the temple is remote and it is too late to catch the last bus. Learning of the situation, Yuzuki invites him to stay in the temple overnight to get the morning bus. There are many rooms in the temple. Although Akamitsu cannot live in the nunnery for a long time, he can stay temporarily for a day or 2. Akamitsu rejects her invitation and decides to practice alone for some time. Realizing that he isn't an evildoer, Yuzuki brings up the scene they first met. Surprised to know Yuzuki still remembers him, Akamitsu feels very shy. He officially introduces his full name to Yuzuki. Unexpectedly, Yuzuki becomes very angry after learning his family name. It turns out that Akamitsu's father had borrowed 20 million yen from the nunnery and escaped. Feeling very guilty, Akamitsu returns to the temple. He kneels to apologize and vows to pay off the debt. Considering that Akamitsu cannot afford the debt now, the girls decide to let him pay off his debt with his body. From then on, Akamitsu officially becomes the servant of these beautiful girls. It is worth mentioning that Tsukuyo does not welcome the arrival of Akamitsu. As she fails to convince Yuzuki, she has to find another way to drive Akamitsu away. Yuzuki is a very kind girl, and she proposes to show Akamitsu around the temple. Her gentle behavior attracts Akamitsu a lot, causing him to be shy in front of her. Meanwhile, the other girls have been hiding in the corner to observe them. Tsukuyo insists that Akamitsu is a hentai, vowing to kick him out one day. Akamitsu is unaware of Tsukuyo's plan, focusing on paying off his debts. He gets up early in the morning to clean and cook. While he is preparing a dish, Yuzuki suddenly greets him. She is responsible for ringing the bell to wake everyone up, and is a little surprised that Akamitsu got up earlier than her. Meanwhile, Akamitsu can't help but gaze at her hot body, unaware of the burned dish. Anyway, he manages to make the breakfast. Tsukuyo is the first to taste the dish, intending to belittle his cooking skills. However, the good taste of the dishes doesn't allow her to do so. Tsukuyo then comes up with another plan. She orders him to clean and settle accounts while deliberately distracting him with her sexy figure. What's more, she provides him with only a summer outfit in this cold November. To her surprise, Akamitsu likes this outfit very much, and coupled with his talent at housework and settling accounts, he quickly completes the task assigned by Tsukuyo. However, this doesn't eliminate Tsukuyo's hatred toward him. She then pours water onto Akamitsu with a pipe, naming it the Waterfall Meditation, taking it as a blessing for him. Akamitsu enjoys it very much. Eventually, Tsukuyo decides to directly seduce him to make him expose his evil personality. While Akamitsu is taking a bath, she breaks into the bathroom taking off her jacket. At this moment, the storage box behind her suddenly falls. Worried that she would be smashed, Akamitsu rushes to protect her. Although they dodge the box, another one on the cabinet also falls, hitting Akamitsu's head and causing him to accidentally kiss Tsukuyo. Meanwhile, Yuzuki follows Tsukuyo's instructions to look for her in the bathroom. Happening to see them kissing, Tsukuyo is happy about it, believing that Yuzuki will definitely kick Akamitsu out now. However, Kiki has already told Yuzuki about her plan of framing Akamitsu, so instead of punishing Akamitsu, Yuzuki tells Tsukuyo that he is not a bad person, and that he came here because he wanted to change himself. With her reminder, Tsukuyo realizes that she doesn't hate Akamitsu as much as she thinks. Just as they are about to explain the ins and outs of the matter to Akamitsu, Akamitsu has left the temple for feeling guilty about kissing Tsukuyo, but his previous accommodation has been rented out by the landlord, and he doesn't know where else he can go. To make matters worse, it is raining outside, and he can only shelter in a cardboard box. Finally, Yuzuki and Tsukuyo find him, asking him to return to the temple. Tsukuyo apologizes to him for her wrongdoing, in addition to which she gives him a chit. Because Akamitsu took her first kiss, she must be compensated for 5 million yen. Unable to refuse them, Akamitsu returns to the temple. It's time for dinner, and while Yuzuki and Tsukuyo are taking a bath, Akamitsu takes the initiative to cook. Courage has a good impression of Akamitsu, coming over to offer assistance. She is glad that Akamitsu has returned to the temple, because before his arrival, Yuzuki always acted mature and sensible. Only in front of him does Yuzuki show her clumsy side. Courage makes a deliberate joke that even if Akamitsu goes to peek at Yuzuki bathing, she wouldn't be angry. Akamitsu is shocked, and when he sees Courage is about to open the door of the bathroom, he rushes to stop her. Coincidentally, as Courage withdraws her hand in time, Akamitsu opens the door by accident. He thus sees the private parts of Yuzuki and Tsukuyo, ending up with a heavy punch. Girls in this anime all seem to love teasing Akamitsu, as he is forced to live with these 6 beautiful girls. He is destined to experience a lot of sweet troubles every day. I gotta say that Akamitsu is indeed much better than his father. Although he has been in love with Yuzuki for a long time, he never asked for an intimate interaction with her. But still, if he wants to change himself completely, Akamitsu has a lot of challenges ahead. Do you think he will be able to follow through? Feel free to say what you think in the comments section. Well, that's it for this video. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. The more likes I get, the faster I'll upload the next part. Let me see your support.